Defense attorneys demanded a dismissal. Civil rights groups picked up the story. Reporters started asking questions. How could someone confess to a crime they didn't commit? The answer, sadly, is all too common: coercion, isolation, fear, and a deep-rooted system that prioritizes closure over truth. In 2016, nearly 2 years after his arrest, charges against Kevin were finally dropped. He walked out of jail at age 21, broken but free. But freedom didn't erase what happened. He had missed 2 years of life. He lost friends. His reputation was stained. And though he was exonerated, he never received an apology from the police or the DA's office. Today, Kevin speaks out about false confessions. He tells his story to students and advocacy groups, warning them how quickly the system can turn on the innocent, especially when they're young, Black, and alone. His story is a painful reminder: a confession isn't always the truth. And justice, when rushed, can destroy the very people it claims to protect. The statement wasn't detailed. It was vague, full of inconsistencies. But that didn't matter. They had a confession. And in the eyes of the public and prosecutors, that was enough. Kevin was charged with attempted murder and sexual assault. Bail was denied. His family was devastated. His mother insisted he was innocent. He had been home the night of the attack, watching his younger siblings while she worked a late shift. But no one listened. The case moved fast. The prosecution leaned heavily on the confession, claiming Kevin had shown remorse. A court-appointed attorney did what he could, but with no money and no media attention, Kevin's story was buried beneath headlines that read, "Teen confesses to brutal assault." But in the background, the crime lab was still processing DNA from the scene. A bloody glove, a strand of hair, skin found under the victim's fingernails. It took months. But when the results came back, they didn't match Kevin. They matched a 42-year-old man named Anthony Briggs, already in prison for a similar assault just a year prior. His DNA was in the system. Kevin's wasn't. When the report came in, there was panic behind the scenes. Prosecutors claimed they needed time to reassess. But the case against Kevin began to unravel. He confessed. Then they found DNA proving someone else did it. Kevin Taylor was 19, quiet, and barely known outside his small circle in a low-income neighborhood in South Carolina. He had no criminal record, worked part-time at a warehouse, and dreamed of becoming a mechanic. But in October 2014, all of that would be erased in a single night. A woman was brutally attacked in her apartment just 2 blocks from where Kevin lived. She survived, but barely. The police launched an immediate investigation. Under public pressure, they moved quickly, desperate to find a suspect. The only description the victim could give: a Black male, medium build, possibly wearing a hoodie. That could have described hundreds of people in the area, including Kevin. He was picked up 3 days later while walking home from work. No lawyer, no phone call, just handcuffs, confusion, and silence. Over the next 12 hours, Kevin was interrogated relentlessly. Detectives told him they had evidence, that someone had seen him, that if he didn't talk, things would get worse. They showed him crime scene photos. They told him the victim had named him, which wasn't true. Kevin, scared, exhausted, and alone, finally said what they wanted to hear. "I did it," he muttered.